I got into St. Paul's when I was 10. It was a 10+ exam, which they were offering to local state school children. So my mum put me and my twin brother in for the St. Paul's School exam. And she didn't tell us about it. I wasn't prepared. I just one day was picked up from school and was taken to St. Paul's, and we sat that exam with no preparation at all. And I've always wished I had a bit more, because although I got in, my twin didn't get in. I think it would have helped him quite a lot.
Yeah, so now it's the time to make that impact and help.
Verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning contain many very specific question types, and anyone who's done those topics, those subjects, will understand that. So students can't skip preparation for those subjects. They need to understand question types. They need to practice reading a question carefully. If you're looking for an antonym, don't give a synonym. I'm always surprised by how often students can make those kinds of mistakes. So they need to practice reading questions, and they just need preparation and practice in question types. They need to know methodology. I'm big on that. The student needs to know step by step, where do I start with this type of question? And how can I get to an answer which is almost certain? Reasoning skills, I would say, be careful. Start by reading that question carefully. Think in your head, what might the answer be? Then look at the options and think your way through them. Eliminate options you know are wrong, and just be methodical. Don't skip. At the same time, if you have a strong gut feeling and you are good at that type of question, you can trust your gut, that's okay. Then you save time and you can go on to questions which are harder. In terms of vocabulary, I mean, there is no easy solution. It does take a long time. But the sooner you start reading books you like, the more your vocabulary will grow. Yeah, I think exposing yourself to as much media as you can is very good. As I say, if you're watching a show, start with the subtitles on in English, so you can read it as well. But after a while, turn them off, because your ears need that practice. Yeah, try to make vocabulary type practice, reading, listening, watching, part of your everyday, and do it every day. Yeah, I help students mainly with their English and verbal reasoning, ISEB and UKiset preparation. Students will always have different needs, and will be at different stages in their learning and in their English level. So I've got to be very flexible about how I respond to different students. I've got to challenge them, but I also have to help them to feel more confident. So it really depends, but yeah, always trying to make the student feel challenged without feeling overwhelmed. Yeah, since working at St. Paul's and teaching drama, I've also taught big classrooms in Japan, 38 kids in the class. And there are many differences. When I'm in a big classroom, the management of that classroom takes up a lot of my energy, and it can be really rewarding. But ultimately, it can also be frustrating, because you can see some of those students are struggling and they don't get the time with a teacher that they really need. But with JD, I can just focus so much more on that individual student's needs, and that means they can progress a lot faster. There's a much more one-on-one personal relationship, which I enjoy, and ultimately it's just very satisfying. We will be undertaking 6 weeks of courses in Shanghai. Yes, it's going to be a really great experience. It will be an intensive course, and it will really prepare you well, comprehensively, which means in every aspect, for whatever exam you're looking for, ISEB or UKiset. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm sure by the end of it, your confidence and your academic ability will have improved. So I highly recommend coming to our courses and greeting me as I finally make my way to Shanghai.